Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Wishing you all a very happy Navratri. So today we'll be beginning with the Devi Mahatamyams, the third episode, which is meditation on MahaSaraswati. Wielding in her lotus hands the bell, trident, plowshare, conch, pestle, discus, bow and arrow, her luster is like that of a moon shining in autumn sky. She is born from the body of Gauri and is the sustaining base of the three worlds. That MahaSaraswati I worship here, who destroyed Shumba and other Asuras. Fifth chapter, Om Klim, the sage said. Long ago, Indra shares in the sacrifices and his authority over the triple world were captured by the Asuras, Shumba and Nishumba, by resorting to their strength and pride. They too themselves took over the authority of the sun, the moon, Kubera, Yama and Varuna. They too captured the glory of Vayu and performed the acts of Agni. Their kingdoms lost, the vanquished gods were expelled. All the gods whose authority has been captured and who were spurned by the two great Asuras remembered that goddess who is invincible. A boon was given to us by her as follows. If you remember me in distress, that very moment I shall destroy all your worst sufferings. Resolving thus, the gods went to Himavan, the lord of the mountains. There they praised the divine Vishnu Maya. The god said, salutations to the goddess, to the great goddess, our constant salutations to the auspicious, salutations to Prakriti, to the good. With restraint, we have bowed down to her. Salutations to her who is terrible, to her who is eternal. Salutations to Gauri. To her who upholds and sustains. Our constant salutations to her who is the form of the moon, who is moonlight and who is delight. We make our obeisance to her who is auspicious to the obeisant, to growth and prosperity, to accomplishment. Salutations to thee, consort of Shiva, to the misfortune, to the good fortune of kings. To Durga, who fords us across difficulties, to the essence, to the doer of all, to the discriminating knowledge, to the dark one, to the smoky one, our constant salutations. We have prostrated before the exceedingly beautiful, before the extremely terrible. Salutations to her, to the mainstay of the world, to the goddess. Workmanship, we bow. To the goddess who in all beings in resonant as Vishnu Maya. To her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings is called consciousness. To her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of intelligence. To her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of sleep. To her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of hunger. To her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of shadow. To her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of force. To her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of thirst. To her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of patience. To her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of genus, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of modesty, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of peace, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of faith, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of glowing charm, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of good fortune, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of activity, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of remembrance, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of mercy, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of contentment, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of mother, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of mistake, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To her who presides over the senses and over the beings and also permeates into all beings, to that ever-pervasive goddess, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who pervading this entire world abides in the form of consciousness, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. Lauded by the gods, lauded by the gods formerly for attaining the desired object and then served for days together by the king of gods, may she, Ishvari, the cause of auspiciousness, do us the auspicious good and destroy the miseries. And who is at the present moment offered salutations by us God, tormented by the haughty sons of Diti, and who when remembered by us with bodies bent with devotion, destroys that very moment all our miseries. The sage said, Oh, the delight of kings! Thus, while the gods were engaged in the Lord, Parvati, the daughter of the mountain, came to bathe in the waters of the Ganges, Ganga. She of pretty eyebrows asked those gods, Who is it that is being lauded here? From her body sheath, an auspicious form emerged and replied, This laud is done to me by the gods assembled here, who have been vanquished by Nishumbha in battle and spurned by the Asura Shumbha. As the mother emerged from the physical sheath of the daughter of the mountain, henceforth she is extolled as Kaushiki in all the worlds. After she emerged, Parvati, the daughter of mountain, became dark and was called Kalika. Kalika means dark. She took her abode in the Himalayas. Then Chanda and Munda. Now these are the asuras, and I will slowly explain who these asuras represent within us. Then Chanda and Munda, the bearers of Shumba and Nishumba, espied the mother who had taken a most charming form. Shumba was informed by them, O great king, some woman resides there, exceedingly charming, shedding luster on the mountain Himavan. Nobody has ever seen such an exquisite form anywhere. O king of Asuras, please ascertain who that goddess is and take possession of her. A gem among women of exceedingly loving limbs, she stands, making the quarters luminous by her luster. You ought to see her. O Lord, whatever things are there in the three worlds, all of them, gems, jewels, elephants, horses, etc., are now appearing in your mansion. From Indra, Airavat, the gem amongst elephants has been brought. Likewise, this Parijata tree and the horse Uchishrava. Here stands in your courtyard the aerial chariot yoked with swans. This wonderful thing originally belonged to Brahma and has been brought as a gem of its class. This treasure Mahapadma has brought from Kubera, the lord of wealth. The ocean has given the garland of unfading lotuses, full of filaments. The umbrella of Varuna, showering gold, is now in your mansion. Similarly, this nice chariot, which belonged once to the Lord of beings. O Lord, you have seized the lands of Yama, the famous Utkrantida. The news of Varuna, the king of waters, is in the possession of your brother. All classes of gems born out of the ocean have become Nishumbas. Agni too has granted you a pair of garments purified by fire. O Lord of the sons of divisions, thus all gems have been seized by you. Why this auspicious lady, a gem of woman, has not been taken by you? Now who's talking this to whom? Chanda and Munda are the bearers of Shumba and Nishumba. They are the major demons. And the explanation about who they are, that is Shumba and Nishumba, I will be doing at the end of this, before we end the Devi Mahatamyam, the whole episodes. But now, today we need to understand who is Chanda and Munda. So let me first complete and then I shall give you the explanation. The sage said, on hearing these words of Chanda and Munda, Shumba sent the great Asura Sugriva as messenger to the goddess. Go and tell her such and such according to what I say. You have to finish the work speedily in such a way that she comes forward in love. He went to the very lovely spot in the mountain where the goddess was seated and spoke to her nicely, sweet words. The messenger said, now who is this? The messenger, the Asura named Sugriva, is now being summoned by his master, that is Shumba, and he sent as a messenger to the goddess. Now let us see what is he going to say. The messenger said, O goddess, Shumba, the lord of the sons of Diti, is the supreme sovereign in the three worlds. I am sent by him as messenger and I have come here to your presence. None of the divine birds has ever transgressed his commands and he has defeated all the foes of the Asuras. Listen to what he says. Mine is the entire triple world. The gods are under my control. I partake each one of all their shares in the sacrifices. All the best gems in the three worlds, without exception, are under my control. Likewise, Indra's vehicle, the gem of elephants, has been taken by me. That gem of a horse, Uchishravas by name, produced out of the churning of the milky ocean, was offered to me with salutation by gods. O beautiful one, whatever things were like rare gems with the gods, Gandharvas and Nagas, they all are now with me only. O goddess, we in the world esteem you a gem among women. So you come to us as we are the enjoyers of rare gems. You come to me or to my brother Nishumba of vast prowess, O lady of wavering glance, as you are really a gem. By accepting me, you will get huge wealth of no comparison. Think over this in your mind and become my spouse. The sage said, thus spoken to the goddess Durga, adorable and auspicious, by whom this world is upheld and sustained, said seriously, laughing within herself. The goddess said, you have spoken the truth. No falsehood. No falsehood has been uttered by you in this connection. Shumba is the overlord of the triple world, and Nishumba too is likewise. But how to falsify the promise formerly made out of immaturity in mind? Hear the promise I made long ago. He alone will become my husband, who conquers me in battle, who vanquishes my pride, and who is equal to me in strength in the world. And so let Shumba come here, or Nishumba of great strength. Let them conquer me easily and win my hand in marriage. Why delay? The messenger said, O goddess, you are haughty. Do not say like this in front of me. In all the three worlds, which male dare stand before Shumba and Nishumba? Also, before other asuras, even all the gods assembled cannot stand in the battle. Then what about you, alone, all alone, and that too a woman? This is a very interesting way how a messenger, all alone, and that too a woman. How can you, a woman, confront Shumba and others whom all the gods headed by Indra cannot stand in battle? On my word alone, you go to the vicinity of Shumba and Nishumba. There is no need of you going to them dragged by your tresses and your dignity lost. The goddess said, it is true, Shumba is strong and Nishumba is likewise. What can I do? My promise made is an unthinking, in an unthinking moment is there. You go and tell the Lord of Asuras carefully all that I have said. Let him do what is proper. So here ends the 5th of Devi Mahatmyam in Markandeya Purana during the period of Shavarni, the Manu. So now let me begin the explanation. Most important, I'm not going to go in detail about who is Shumba and Nishumba, but just a basic. Now here in this itself, in the first verse where it is said, the triple world were captured by the Asuras, Shumba and Nishumba, by resorting to their strength and pride. So here Shumba represents the strength and Nishumba the pride. So with that, I'm not going to explain this in detail right now. First, let us understand who is Chanda and Munda. Okay. Now, Chanda and Munda, the bearers of Shumba and Nishumba, espied the mother who had taken a most charming form. Now, of course, she's goddess, she's Parvati. She's very beautiful, she is very gorgeous. There is nobody in this entire universe who can, compare in beauty with her. Now, when they saw, what does Chanda represent? The moment they saw, they just got so enamored, so lost. Who is this Chanda and Munda within us? That is called, Chanda is called the lust and Munda is called the greed. The moment you look at an object, lust is not just a sexual aspect of it. Lust also represents that you lust for things. We say you're lusting. So you want to possess, and the greed says, I need to own this. So Chanda and Munda represents the lust and greed within us. And have you seen this even in the material world? How someone looks at a woman, they objectify her. She is, most of the times, she's looked upon as a sex object. And you objectify a woman. So here also these asuras within us, represent that lust and greed. The moment you look you look at a woman and you think, oh, how beautiful, I want to own her, I want to possess her, I want to marry her. So whatever that thoughts might be. So here it's just a woman as a representation, but it is just not woman. It could be any object for that matter. It could be anything, in this world. It could be, people, place and things. Everything that you want to possess. You are greedy about it. The lusting comes in. Oh, I want this, I want this. We kind of lust for it because that possession is so important. And what were they saying? They're saying, please understand now, the Rakshasa, the Asura called Shumba and Nishumba are now the gods. They have taken over the sovereignty over 3 worlds, the triple worlds, which means all the gods are also adhin to him, means subservient to this Asuras. Now what happens in such a case? Imagine yesterday we learnt about how the Mahishasura, when he becomes the king, he defeats Indradev and now he becomes the king of gods. What happens? Inertia, lethargy, tamas, that is tamas is all the laziness, everything seeps in. Now then head to toe we are ruled by Asuras, who are the army of Mahishasura. Now in this case, Shumba and Nishumba have become the gods. Now they are ruling the triple worlds. Now head to toe, all his Asuras are ruling us. Now the most important thing, they represent strength and pride. And also what do they represent? They are capturing things. They want to possess. They have taken all the precious gems and everything, or the weapons and everything that the gods had, and now it is under their possession. Now just ask this to yourself. Now what is that they are doing? They are using their false strength and pride to possess all of it. And now when they possess, do you think they are going to use it for a good purpose? Of course not. And what is this about possession? See, we human beings love to possess, and that is represented by lust and greed. The lust and greed is talking, they are saying, oh, look at this woman, she's so beautiful. We have to tell our master that, he has everything, but he needs to also have this woman. They use the word woman. Even in the material world, don't you come across such people who have this kind of behavior? And please understand, when you listen or when you come across these kind of people talking in this language, don't you see Chanda and Munda right there? So what is ruling them? Who is ruling them within them? Now it is not the gods who's ruling them. It is the demons who are ruling them. So what do we say? Their behavior is based on the demonic dispositions they have at that moment in time. So that is why in Bhagavad Gita, I am repeating this over and over again so that you understand the importance why we need to practice the divine dispositions, the qualities which will make us divine, which means the gods have to rule us, not the demons. The moment the demons take charge, what happens? Head to toe, then you are becoming demonic in nature. That is why you see some people, because they are not practicing being the good self. See, forget about divine. Divinity is one aspect. First is you have to be your good self. Good self means what? Doing, living a God-pleasing life. Having the qualities which is more of goodness, which is being kind, compassionate, loving, caring, gentle, all the good things that define a good, the qualities of sattva, the goodness. That is what being your good self means. But what happens is when these asuras work within us, we become demonic. We allow the demons to rise. Now, who is empowering them? You. The moment you let them rule you, you're empowering these demons within you. So what happens? Lust comes. Oh, I need this object. I want to buy. I need to own it. I need to possess it. And then the greed is taking charge. And then the greed is saying, yes, you should go buy. I need it. The greed becomes voracious. Now, if you put together all the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Tripura Rahasyam, or now Devi Mahatamyam, are we learning the same lessons over and over again? And even in Srimad Bhagavatam, In Srimad Bhagavatam, most importantly, what we are learning is how to just be devoted. Why devotion is very important is so that we can overcome, destroy our demonic nature, all our tendencies, the vasanas, and all that, whatever that we have acquired from our past lives and in the present life too. So we can destroy all of that and keep our nature in control so that we can go towards the path of goodness, following the path of righteousness. That is the dharma. That is what we are learning. Now, most important, what you need to understand is these demons have immortality. The reason why we have to continuously keep learning and be aware, conscious of our own self is because we should not allow this demon to raise its ugly head within us. Because the moment these demons raise and you give in to them, then they will start ruling you. Yesterday I explained to you how these demons act within you. See, there is no demon outside. Please understand, the demons are within us. Now do you understand why when you see certain people behave in a certain way, you should identify, oh, okay, now this demon is acting within them. So you have to be your good self. See, we are not here to change the world. We are here to make a change within ourselves. First, I have to transform. This knowledge is coming to me. So you have to make an effort to transform within yourself. That is why we have to set a good example. When we practice these beautiful lessons in our life, it also, helps our future generation. For all those parents who have their children, you are a role model to them. So you need to set an example. When you practice these, good qualities, how you live in this world, that is why it is called the way of life. When you live a beautiful way of life as described by Sri Krishna Bhagwan, as described in our scriptures, then you establish a strong foundation so nobody can shake you. Similarly, your children are looking upon you. So they are also observing the qualities, everything, they are learning from you. You are their role model. So it becomes extremely important how you behave in this world, how you do things in the world. So understand, there is no demon outside. Now, what is the Devi doing? Now, Devi is telling, look, okay, let them talk. She did not react. See, the other very beautiful lesson which we have to learn as a human being, our way to respond to things is quite bad. We become very angry when somebody speaks like this, and immediately we react in a very bad manner, or we will stoop down to their own level, to the level of the other person, like the Asura. We also become Asura. But how did the Devi react? It's a very important quality that to possess. She very powerfully, she said, she did not take it to her. She didn't even bother how they spoke to her. What did she say? She said, I have taken a vow. I made a promise long ago. Here the promise I made long ago. He alone will become my husband who conquers me in the battle. Look at the power. She knows how powerful she is. So she is not going to react or respond in a way that is going to be detrimental to you. So it is very important how we respond as well, how we react. Many a time, there is no need to respond to everything in this world. There is no need to give a reaction. You have to be very calm. See, calm and composed, having a composure within us, the complete peace, having that coolness is very important. Calm and composure. What is she saying? She is everything. Don't you think all these, the power which we just described the goddess, she is the peace, she is the, the power, she is the beauty. We just did that. How much we praised her. She is the activity within us. She is in the form of remembrance. She is in the form of mercy. All this is her. Imagine, all these potencies are within you. And you don't even use it in your life. Why? Because we don't know. First of all, we have self-doubt. We don't have the confidence that we are very capable. This Devi is you, okay? This is the power potency which is there within you. You need to bring it out. Like when I say Devi, doesn't mean it's only a feminine aspect. I keep telling, these are the Shaktis. It represents the power potencies, which is represented in the feminine aspect. So there is no male and female. It's an active and a passive principle. It is a principle. It's a tattva. So what do you need to do? You need to empower this Devi inside of you. Why don't you do that? So when you unravel this potential, you will understand the power within you. So what we do is we look at ourselves as a very simple, very ordinary mortal, and we think, very low about ourselves. We don't have that confidence. You all must watch this a very beautiful movie. The movie's name is Inside Out 2. It is on Disney Hotstar. It talks about this movie. I don't know whoever is directed. It's fantastic movie. It gives an understanding how does your thought process works inside of your mind. It's very beautiful. So why it all the more it is important for us to build a character in our, the strength in the character of who we are. You need to build your own identity, which has to be very powerful, like this goddess Parvati Devi. You are that Parvati, you are that goddess with all the power within you, and you need to build that up. How you speak, how you do things in life, how you live a disciplined life, everything matters. So that these asuras does not rise within you. The divinity, the Devi has to be, in the entire part of your being. The Devi has to rise, not the demons. See, the gods and demons live within this body itself. Okay, so you have to enable the Devi to rise. Understand at every level when this fight is happening with the demons, what does it mean? At every level of your spiritual journey, you have to overcome those obstacles in your world, which are your vrittis, that is the tendencies, the vasanas, whatever that might be, the past memories. We have to destroy all of that. Until you do not destroy, using that weapon, the power potency within yourself, the Shakti within yourself, empowering the goddess, then how will you evolve to attaining the God realization? How will you understand your own greatness, that you are the Devi? There is nobody outside. You need to know that your greatness, you need to learn, understand about your own greatness. So that is extremely important. And how do you do that? So here is what we are learning, that first we have to destroy these vasanas. The Chanda and Munda, what is it? Lust and greed. Don't go after things. Things will come to you on its own. Whatever is due to you, you will anyway get it. So don't run after these things. It has no value. They are all illusion. It is all Maya. And the moment you get stuck in that, you lose out. And not just the peace. You're completely lost in life. Now, in yesterday's satsang, I was telling you, I am going to explain a very important lesson for you to understand how these things work. In fact, my Guruji has explained in one of his satsangs. Now, he was asking, where does Shiva live? Okay, this is a very important thing to learn. This whole scripture, when we began, when we say we are praying to the deity, the principal deity, the principal, the God here, and the tutelary deities, all those in the scripture. Now it is who? It is not just Durga Ma, it is Ganesh, it is Kartik Swami, it is Lakshmi, Saraswati, all these, they are all, and Lord Shiva himself. Now where does Shiva reside? Shiva resides in the Sahasrahar, we say, that's the Himalayas. Now my Guruji asked a very beautiful question. He said, why are all these ganas, the Bhoot, Pret, Pishach, all of them are there with him? What does that mean, And then, most important, why do they all live there with him? That too in Himalaya. That's a very important question for you all to answer. So what does that represent? That represents, see, what do we say those ganas, what do we call them? Bhoot, Pret and Pishach, right? What does Bhoot mean? That is the past, okay? So all your past memories, which is dead and gone, what happens in us? The asuras, what do? What are the demons? They are representing past. Bhoot means past. Pishach means what? It's dead. Pret means Bhoot, Pret and Pishach. Yeah, Pret means it's a dead. They are dead and gone. Then Pishach means it's a ghost. It's haunting. So what happens to you? Your past memories, everything haunts you. We are always living in our past, and these are the asuras. So what do? They keep coming and haunting you. How do they haunt? They live within us in the form of memories. Okay, and where is the memory? Somewhere in the brain. They're all stored somewhere. And at certain time in life, when you are angry or you're upset with certain things, that memory gets triggered out. That Asura raises its ugly head, and you, no end, get very angry. And suddenly, the object, of your anger doesn't even exist in front of you. But yet, you fight, you react very violently. Why does that happen? You need to understand the source where it is coming from. If you do not understand, how will you overcome? How will you kill these demons? So most important. So what happens? We are always going back into the past, which is dead and gone. But that is what keeps you haunting. So now do you understand? Bhoot, Pret and Pishach. Those things keep coming back over and over again. Who is giving them the birth again? I mean, you are making them alive. You are bringing them to life by thinking about those things which is dead and gone. Why are you raking up the past issues? Many a time, my Guruji has very beautifully explained. Of course, it takes a lot of time for us to understand. He says, see, what is gone has gone. That past cannot be changed. What has happened in your life cannot be changed. But most important, how you live now and your future can be changed. And that is in your hands alone. That was a very powerful lesson. And you know what? Past doesn't mean many years ago. Past means even yesterday. You might have had a fight with your father, mother, brother, sister, husband, whatever, yesterday. But when you wake up, as you wake up, what is the thought that you wake up? The moment, have you even observed yourself? The moment you sleep and get up after those incidents, the moment you wake up, slowly your mind comes in. And the mind brings those bitterness, whatever had happened yesterday, which is a past, which is dead and gone. That cannot be changed. And then what does it do? The moment you wake up and the mind slowly brings those thoughts, what does it do? It now gives you a new interpretation. It now gives you new imagination, which is all unreal. There is no basis for any of that. And what happens? You are even more horrible now. You are even more angry. Your anger has doubled. You are upset. And most important, you are now willing to go fight more. Now, who's winning here? Who has already won? The Asuras have won. Now, what has happened? Now, please understand. Now, all the gods also can't work. They are working against you because please understand, the demon is the king. Okay? Now, he is the king of gods. Now, the gods are also working against you. So, head to toe, nothing is in sync. Nobody is working with you. The divinity is lost right there. Now do you understand? In spirituality, when this happens, now who is that you go against? The Guru. The mind instigates you against the Guru. It doesn't allow you to attain the God realization because it constantly instigates. Oh, your Guru is like this. He's put you in trouble. Your Guru is talking to you like this. This is what is the truth which we forget. In the material world, I gave an example. Even in the spiritual world, I'm telling you what happens. So you need to consciously make an effort not to think negative. Yesterday we learned a very beautiful word, in one of the chapters, in the 4th chapter, where it is being said, cultivation in mind. What does cultivation in mind mean? You have to cultivate and practice. That is called sadhana. Practice having the good thoughts in your mind. Mind is like a cultivation. You can cultivate. It's a field. It's just an open thing. But it is in your hands. How do you use the mind? Either to rise above or fall down. Please understand, mind is just a tool. It is only required for you to do certain things. And the mind can be trained. That is what Krishna Bhagavan says. You can control it. He doesn't say that you can overcome. What does he say? You can control with the power of your devotion, your surrender to the Guru and following all his instructions. That is what it is all about. And what does he teach? Even in Bhagavad Gita, when we talk about Duryodhan, Dushasan, what do they represent? Lust and greed. So do you see, everything is allegorical. Okay? It is just a way of understanding the truth. What do they represent within us? Why should we fight this out? Because that is what is detrimental for our progress. And also we get entangled in the bondage in the material world. It's going to eat us up. Because when you have this greed, which is voracious, and it doesn't stop, If you fulfill one desire of yours and then the next comes and the next comes and the next comes, the list goes endless. It's like a bottomless pit. There is no end to it. So you need to be extremely careful. Now what is being taught here? The power, the Devi within you, the Shaktis, which is the power inside of you, which you have to use to cut asunder, destroy, kill those demons, kill the enemies. What does it mean, killing them? Means when you become Lord Shiva, when you attain that level, the demons work for you. Doesn't all the Ganas work for Lord Shiva? How beautiful. And also, what does Ganesh mean? He's the Ganadipati, right? Vigneshwar. What do we say? Vignaharta. One who removes the Vigna from our life, the obstacles from our life. And most important, that day Guruji was teaching something very beautiful. What did he say? We should never allow those, those demons to go down. That is, we have to kill them at this level itself. Because what happens? The moment they percolate downwards, your entire body, head to toe, the mind is head to toe. And what happens? Then it spreads the poison inside of you. So there is no way it allows you to rise above. And the effort that is required to kill them is tremendous. And this is where you all fail, because when you get angry, when you get upset, these demons will never allow you to go to your guru or the God. It is always going to instigate you against them. That is where you fail. So 99.99% people fail in spirituality for this reason, because they don't know how to rise. So what is the one word you need to have in your life? Love and devotion. The 4 words which represent, what is it required? Absolute faith, complete surrender, unconditional pure love, and exclusive devotion. This is all is required. And just do your sadhana. There is nothing more that is required than this. But you have to make that self-effort is a must. Without self-effort, you cannot attain God realization. You cannot overcome your tendencies, vasanas, vrittis, that nature of yours. You can't transform it. You can't change it. But please understand, nobody can change their inherent nature. But what you need to do is you have to use the same nature to win in this world, to become the greatest thing that you are, to understand the Devi who you are. You need to know your own greatness. That is what you can achieve. So I hope I've given you the explanation, and so we will end here, and tomorrow we will begin with a new chapter, that is episode 3 and chapter 6. I hope today you understand how these demons, how they rule our world, and where we fail in understanding what happens within us. So it is in your hands to always be happy, be good, be loving, remove all these negativity out of your life. And most important lesson, don't forget, the past is dead and gone. Going back into the past, thinking about it constantly, that this happened to me, that happened to me, nothing is going to change, but your future can change. You can have a very beautiful future, and that is in your hands alone. So how your present and the future has to be completely rests in your own hand. So become that Devi, understand your own greatness, and let the world also know your greatness. Become that Devi Mahatmyam yourself. So with that, we end today's Parayan. Once again, thank you for joining the Devi Mahatmyam Parayan. Have a good day and good evening to you all. God bless. Happy Navratri to all of you. Thank you.
Recording stopped.